Stoof, welcome to my painting channel. Today I'm going to be teaching an oil painting. I call this one Wedding Roses. I made it for my friend who's getting married this year, and she really likes flowers, and I know a lot of you guys might like flowers, so we can learn how to make this one together, so just keep watching. Now this is what the finished piece looks like. To get to this point, you're going to need some materials. I used an 8" by 10" canvas, I used oil paints, and I used some brushes. To make it easy for you, I saved a link to these painting materials on Amazon.com in my video description below. The colors you need are flesh tint, which is that pinkish tone, white, lamp black, ultramarine blue, cadmium yellow, sap green, raw umber, which is a dark brown tone, alizarin crimson, which is a cooler red. Paint brushes, I recommend medium to small size brushes since we're working with an 8" by 10" canvas here. I recommend flathead brushes and a couple of round tip brushes as well. Getting started with the painting, the first thing that I do is put my paint onto the palette. Try to put a little bit of every color I'm going to use when I'm oil painting because the colors will remain wet for a day or two. Working onto the canvas, the first thing that I want to do is generally outline where everything is going to lie with just like a general neutral color, a light brown. Mix some whites with some browns, some color that's not going to interfere with the other colors of the painting. One thing I like about painting flowers and landscapes versus painting portraits of people or animals is that you have a little bit more creative freedom with your proportions and your shading and sizing of things. If one feature is a little bit off, as long as it still looks like a flower, you're okay. When you're painting a portrait, a little minor mistake can make the painting thrown way off. Once we finished outlining where everything goes, we want to paint the things that are the farthest away from our eyes. And in this painting, this is a pretty close-up image of these flowers. However, the green leaves and the shadows below the flowers are the farthest away from us. So we are going to paint those first. We're going to use our sap green mixed with some of the blue, some of the brown, a little bit of white, and just try to fill in those voids where we have shadows or leaves. Once you've finished coloring in all of those shadows and leaves, we're just going to start going into detail on the roses. So the colors I mixed here are the flesh tint and alizarin crimson. It's that pinkish color and the cool red. We're going to use these colors to get all of the details in our rose. I blended raw umber, which is that brown color, with some alizarin crimson, some flesh tint, which is the pink, a little bit of black, and a little bit of white for the shadow creases in between each rose petal. And I use this color moving outward from the center of the rose. And it seems like these roses start to lose their pigment, that pink pigment, as you move farther towards the edges. So went with a little bit more of a grayish tone, still keeping a little bit of those pink accents in it for our shadows in the creases. Same format with the smaller roses on the painting, using those pink and alizarin crimson colors towards the center, and working my way out towards the outer edges of the rose, using more grayish, pinkish tones. I'm trying to outline those creases again. Once I finished getting a general outline of where the creases are in these roses, I went into that white flower in the bottom left, that large flower there, and I started painting the shadows. This is a very soft flower. There aren't any deep creases like there are in the roses. So on this one I was using lighter tones that were closer to the white, so we didn't make any dramatic crease lines. We wanted everything to look very soft here, so we don't want any contrast in color. We want things to match a little bit more. After getting the details in on that white flower in the bottom left, I went up into the roses in the top left corner of the painting. These roses were a little bit more of a faded pink. They didn't stand out quite as much, and I didn't want these to be the focus of the painting, so I was using a little bit less contrast on these, making them a little bit more of a faded pink color by mixing in some white and black, because I really want the focus of this painting to be that large rose in the center. In the top left, I moved to another white flower, which looks like a different species of flower than the bottom left. But I'm not quite sure what type of flower this one is either. Maybe a dahlia, but it's really pretty. It's a white flower that has a little bit of bright green, kind of fading into the whites near the bases of each petal on the flower. So I'm working on that one in the top right corner. That one I'm using a little bit more of a creamy tone, mixing some of my yellow, a little bit of the brown, a little bit of the white, and a tiny bit of the black to make this color. Now it is time for us to go back in with detail in all of these flowers and really make them pop. We really want to focus on that flower in the center, the pink rose, and we're going to make that one be the most crisp, have the sharpest edges, the most amount of contrast, and the other flowers are going to have a little bit duller colors, a little bit less contrast, and especially those two white flowers in the bottom left and the top right corner, those are going to be softer flowers. As you can see, it's a pretty repetitive painting process what I'm doing. I actually am using two brushes here, two small brushes, one with a dark tone on it and one with a light tone, to build up those shadows in between the creases using the dark tone brush. That dark tone brush, I'm blending a mix of alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, and raw umber, and then I'm going over top of that dark tone brush to accent the edges of the petals where the light is hitting them with a light color of flesh tint mixed with white, and also adding some yellow and boosting the whites and grays, moving towards the edges of each rose. You're welcome to invest as much time or as little time as you'd like into this painting. I spent about 6 hours working on this piece. As you can see, I did a lot of blending right here on my palette, and this is what the finished piece came out as, and I'm pretty happy with the result. Thanks for watching, everybody. That's all I have for today. I hope I gave you some good tips on oil painting and painting flowers. If you have any questions or comments or ideas for how I can help you guys with the painting process, please leave them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be posting painting lesson videos every Thursday night. And if you want to follow my artwork on social media, I'm on Instagram at @the_painting_stoof. Again, thanks for watching and have a good night. Bye-bye.